just the phrase, I was able to snap it back into place, is distressing to me. Hello and welcome to the Part-Time Gamers, the gaming podcast for people with full-time lives. I am Cernux, clocking in with my good friend, 9 of 12.
There, everybody.
Hello. Holy crap, it's been a bit, and just, yeah. So,
Yeah, life kept happening and happening and happening.
Yeah. So for people who haven't been following me on Twitter and threads and such, just give a little bit of an update of why we haven't had an episode in like a month. My wife was in the hospital for a little bit, and that was the first weekend that we missed. So just taking care of family, taking care of her. And then the week afterwards, I got sick, including pink eye in both eyes, which was not pleasant. Plus like an upper respiratory thing that my wife passed to me. So then I was sick that second weekend, and and missed a bunch of work time, and just fun times were had by pretty much no one. So
Just not my fault for a change, so there's that.
No, yeah, this was completely on me this time. Just been doing good for, like, sickness wise, been doing good so far this year, and then just everything hit all at once for my wife and I. So it was a bit rough there for a little while. So apologies for missing the shows, but sorry, there was no way we were going to be doing those shows. But we did.
You need your eyes for this.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. And also to like drive a forklift and stuff like that at work. And, it's kind of important. So.
And play video games.
Yeah, that too. So.
Well, most of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just overall an unpleasant experience. So, but we did get back to our game night last week, and finally things are kind of mellowing out, kind of getting back to quote unquote normal, whatever normal is now. So we are back at this month, new theme, new games. Sorry, we are not getting to Diablo Immortal. I'm not actually sorry. So
I played.
I played
in everything.
Yeah, I played for like that whole like 2 weeks, the leading up to that. It's like I think I played for about half an hour. And I will admit the controls were pretty good, but like my fear is the end game, because they're wholly monetization. But yeah, anyway.
I wasn't going to get to the end game, so that wasn't an issue. I was just checking out the controls, and it was very much just like playing Diablo. My quick summary was not so great for the phone. It's too small for that kind of inventory management and everything. Yeah, but I put it on the iPad, and for the iPad, sure, it's fine.
Yeah, I will admit the controls were actually really good.
Pardon me.
What was that?
My son stepped on a cat.
Okay, that's fine. Actually, probably would have been better if it was the other way around, if the cat stepped on him, but yeah, whatever. All right. But, yeah. Anyways, we're back, and we're going to go ahead and get into our icebreaker.
Nice of you to drop by.
Never heard that one before.
All right. So we have a kind of an aquatic theme for today, at least. So I actually found this on the list of icebreakers you sent me a while back. Have you ever kept a fish as a pet?
Multiple.
Yeah, multiple for me as well. In at least, especially 2 different time frames that I can remember. Yeah, most recently.
There was a point at which I rescued like a big aquarium on a wooden stand type thing. Yeah. That someone was getting rid of, and it kind of motivated me to get a bunch of fish that was really big and everything, but it didn't last.
Yeah.
It's too much maintenance.
Yeah, well, the problem I had was basically all of our fish died, uh, through various, whatever's. Like most recently, we had. Oh, my wife is in charge of our menagerie of animals, and at one point we had a betta fish in this one tank in our kitchen, and the first one died, I think, because she took the fish out of the tank, put it in another container, cleaned out the tank and everything, like you being a responsible fish mom and everything, put nice fresh warm water into the tank. And what we think happened is the water that the fish was in the separate container was colder than the water that it was going into.
Oh, shock. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and I
will.
think it was just like the thermal shock was too much for it. And the next day we found it floating in the tank. And it's like, okay, well, that didn't work. So we actually tried a second one. And I'm not even sure how that one died. But that one only lasted like a month or two or something like that before that one died too. So it's like, okay, we're just done with fish for now. But I also remember when I was like a teenager, maybe even younger, my parents had this pretty sizable fish tank, and we had probably at one point like over a dozen fish in this tank, of couple different varieties and everything like that. And over the years, the fish either were pretty much all of the fish died either by getting sucked into the filter or getting eaten by the red-tailed shark that we had in there.
Yes, I
Yeah.
had that happen. I had a
Yeah.
red-tailed shark, and I had fan-tailed guppies, and they kept eating them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Fish are so persnickety. Like,
Yeah.
different ones want salinity, different ones want heat, different ones can't be with other different ones.
Yeah.
They're disease prone, and then the treatments can be problematic, and then you're trying to change the water, and it's a lot. And I have very seldom in my life had the kind of time
Yeah.
to spend on caretaking that kind of pet.
Yeah.
This is, I'm a cat person.
Well,
You
we are.
feed them, you got a litter box, and other than that, they take care of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we are apparently cat, dog, bird, and lizard people. So,
See, I don't know if I'd even want, like, lizard. I like them and all, but
well, the
you
gecko
get the
that we
whole
have.
temperature stuff, and I mean, they're
Yeah.
fairly low maintenance.
Yeah. Once you get everything kind of situated, like once you get the terrarium, we have a heat lamp and a UV light or whatever that is on a timer. So as long as the timer is plugged in, it just kind of goes and does its thing. He's the least like the most low maintenance animal that we have, even more than the cats. Oh, because even with the cats, we have to occasionally break them up because one of them was a former street cat, and the other one is a cat that's lived in our house for or basically her whole life, and occasionally they get at pounce on each other in the
Yeah,
fighting fashion. Oh,
my cats have learned to get along.
yeah.
And I don't have to bathe them. See, that's my dog issue. Like, really? Really? You bathe kids for all those years, and it's like, I don't want pets I have to bathe. Like,
Yeah, well,
I
that
want
too.
bathing to be a private experience again, just for me.
Yeah. But yeah, like usually the most stuff that we have to do for the cats is their litter boxes are underneath our stairs. We like closed off a section underneath our basement stairs, and we affectionately refer to it as the shit pit. So occasionally we change that out, and that's about the most maintenance we got to do with them for the most part. And other than like occasionally cleaning up their puke, which unfortunately happens.
Yeah, I've got one cat that pukes. But
Yeah. Anyway, in regards to fish, yeah, like by the time, like eventually that red-tailed shark was the last one that survived in that tank. It was like double the size that it started off as. Uh, and then, so funny story about the red-tailed shark as well. So apparently the red-tailed shark eventually died, probably because it ran out of other fish to eat. Uh, and I must have been like, I was still pretty young at that point. I must have been like maybe 10, 11, something like that. And They told me, because I liked that fish and everything. They told me that they sold the fish, that they found a new owner for it that was going to take care of it, and they sold the fish. No, it died and was flushed, and they just didn't tell me that. Literally, like, I don't know how many years later, it just randomly came up in conversation, and my sister ruined it for me. But it's like, yeah, you remember that red-tailed shark that died? And it was like, wait, you mean the one that we sold? And she's like, oh crap, you never told him? So that's how I found out about the shark. But yeah.
Yeah. So for pet owners out there, fish seem low maintenance. They're not really. So.
No, they really aren't. Oh, but yeah, that's my experience with fish. At least fish that we've owned. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into our water cooler talk.
You get that thing I sent you?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, what'd you bring for us?
So I have been like dying to talk about this, and we kept not having shows.
Yeah.
I watched the what was it called? The Players Showcase thing. I happened across it on Twitch a little while back, and they're announcing all these games. Civ 7 got confirmed.
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead has a sequel.
Yeah, I forgot that we had the games awards and had a couple different events while we were out. So
yeah. So this one that I got really excited about. It's called UFO 50. It's not out yet. The planned release date is September 18th. But you can sign up on Steam and put it on a wish list. Yes, I can. So the neat thing about this, it's a whole bunch of games. It's like 50. It's a collection of 50 single and multiplayer games. There's platformers, there's shoot 'em up, puzzles, RPGs, roguelites. So a lot of little, part-time game type things. So, and they have this like 8-bit aesthetic, but the neatest thing, it's set up so that it's like they're all tied together. They're all these different sort of games by the idea that they are all made by this fictional game company they created that existed between the years these games are styled after. Something like between like 80 something and like the early 90s.
yeah.
And as you go through these games, the styles move forward. It's not just all a bunch of indie quick 8-bit games. They go to 32-bit. They go game by game as you progress through these different ones.
Yeah.
They're made in the style that was possible to make in those years.
Yeah, I mean, looking through watching the trailer on the Steam page, looking through some of the screenshots they have on here, it's definitely retro aesthetic, and these look really interesting. Like they're not necessarily like quote unquote name brand games. You can tell that there's definitely some inspiration, but they're legally distinct. But I mean, they all look really interesting, actually.
Like all 50 games are going to be available to play right away at the start.
Yeah.
And like, they chose the elements that they modernized, and like they stick to the 32 color palette.
Yeah.
So they all look like these games from the 80s.
Yeah. So it's definitely definitely appealing to the retro gamer crowd. Oh
yeah.
I mean, this would probably be a pretty cool collection to play retro about.
I tried. I posted it in the Play Retro Discord.
Okay.
But nobody said anything.
All right.
I think I mentioned it in Brian's chat one day, but things were flying by very quickly.
Yeah.
I'll mention it again closer to when it's coming out. I'm hoping platforms shift a little, but I'm guessing they may not. Like it says it's going to be, it's Windows requirements now. And it was made with Game Maker Studio 2.
Okay.
And it says starting January 1st, 2024, the Steam client will only support Windows 10 and later versions. I don't know why that note is there. This is far enough in advance that I think that's just like a leftover when you put your Steam page together that got left in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, UFO 50 looks awesome, and I hope I can play it. It's by Mossmouth is the developer and the publisher.
Which notably has made the Spelunky games.
Oh yeah. I forgot that was in the presentation at the
cool
thing
actually,
I watch.
Actually, looks pretty cool. Oh, cool.
Yeah, that whole show, and I was like, this is the thing that really grabbed me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and that whole, again, that kind of whole couple of weeks were kind of a blur. So I'm sure there were games that I was interested in talking about, and then just completely forgot about them. I don't think there was any that were super notable to me, at least. So definitely not in past years, but cool. It's definitely one to look forward to.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right. So everyone, I've said before that, I'm a very big fan of Satisfactory. I've been playing it it's been an early access on Steam for 2 years now. I've seen it's gone through a bunch of different updates, and they've most recently, the beginning of this year, kind of shut down the updates in order to get to their final 1.0 release. And they said it was going to be this year, and up until this past week, they did not have a release date yet. Well, up until this past week, they have officially announced that the release date for 1.0 Satisfactory is September 10th. So a couple more months, and we'll finally get full Satisfactory, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm really interested in seeing what kind of story they're going to implement with this.
I'm looking at this funny in the article. It's like 1.0 brings with it premium plumbing, which means the hub's once trivial toilet has been updated with an advanced flushing mechanism.
Yeah,
I guess they know their audience here.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that's what the announcement trailer shows, is the Pioneer booking it back to the hub to go use the toilet. And then it's like, oh, by the way, 1.0 is September 10th. They know their audience.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, September 10th, Satisfactory is hitting 1.0. I'm really looking forward to it. They're making changes to some of the locations of minerals and stuff like that. They've made a couple of different adjustments, which is nice. Overall, even though they have removed some of the nodes, overall they have increased the number of nodes and stuff. Although some of them are not necessarily pure and all that. Although I think the one area that I normally make my base is still completely untouched, I think. Which, if that's the case, that's pretty awesome, because I'm just going to keep on using that exact same spot. But yeah, they've also said that they've made adjustments to where recipes are to make it a little bit more streamlined. Be able to get up to trains and stuff a little bit earlier. Ugh. Trying not to sneeze. Ugh. Excuse me. But I mean, it looks like they've been doing a lot of work with this. And it's, like I said, it's going to be really interesting to see what the story, because this game is going to have a story. It's going to be really interesting to see what that is. So that's probably the part I'm most excited about. So yeah, September 10th.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, Summer Game Fest. That's the thing I couldn't remember what that event.
Yeah. Again, I don't even remember what most of the games were that were announced, but I don't think any of them were super notable to me. But anyway, before we get back to work, we would like to mention our Patreon, patreon.com/PTGcast. If you'd like to help us out each month with our paycheck, $1, $5, $10, it all helps out. We really do appreciate it. It's at patreon.com/PTGcast. with that, let's go ahead and get back to work.
Morning break is over. Morning break is over.
So our theme for this month is what I'm referring to as These Games Bite. So, bite as in like literally biting. So today, kind of alluded a little bit to it earlier with the aquatic theme for our icebreaker question. We're going to be talking about the game Maneater, which it's just to me, like, I wanted to talk about it because it's just kind of an interesting concept to me. So developed and published by Tripwire Interactive, it is currently $39.99 on Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch, and Windows via Steam and Epic. But more importantly, it is available on Game Pass. Now, full disclosure, I did not actually get a chance to play this game because I was trying to access it on Game Pass, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it's my system or I don't know what the hang-up was, but I was not able to actually get the game to work. So
I played.
Yeah.
I installed it on my Xbox like last week, and then I got to play it. I didn't even have to do updates when I jumped into play.
Yeah.
Which, even if a game's been around for a while, it seems like they all need updates there. But
Yeah.
I got to play.
Yeah, it might be...
Not a whole lot, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, it might be just me, my system, something glitched in my system because I'm playing on PC, so it might be something with that. I don't know, but I did watch basically a full playthrough on YouTube, so I, still am able to get the gist of it. But this is an open world action RPG where players control a bull shark that terrorizes the waters and sometimes the land of the Gulf Coast. So this is, again, games that bite. You are literally the shark. You are going around...
I like this so much more than I thought I would. Like, I didn't know what I was getting into from the splash screen. Just, there's a big shark. Okay, of course there is. And there's someone swimming. Okay. Am I playing the people? Am I playing the shark? And I get in there and I was the shark? Yeah, I enjoyed this way too much. Like, there was maniacal laughter.
Yeah.
Playing this.
It gets
ridiculous.
Brutal.
There are ridiculous, and it took me a little bit to get the hang of the controls because it can be fast, and there's a lot of combos.
Yeah.
But it does a good job. It walked me through what this combo does and what that combo does, and you've got like little achievements for each of them, and then you start to get achievements like eat 50 beachgoers.
Yeah.
Take out some ships.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one of the big parts of this is, just consuming stuff. I mean, you start off as a pup. I think I looked in the wiki and like you start off, your shark is only about 3 feet long. It's just tiny.
And it looks like you're in like a sewer at the beginning or something. Like,
kind of. I mean, it's a swamp.
Kind of drain
it's like a bayou.
full of all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
I was in like a pipe because there were access ladders going out with sun coming through.
So actually,
it was first trying to tell me to go toward the surface. I was trying to get up there before I realized I couldn't. I had to find my way out.
Yeah.
First.
So that's actually the prologue where you play as the mother. So
okay.
So there's a point like it starts you off a little bit higher level ish just to give you kind of a feel for the controls and everything. Eventually you make your way out there, you start killing some people and everything, and that attracts basically the main antagonist of the game, who's this the bounty hunter named Scaly Pete, who's made his entire life about killing sharks. So eventually he captures you, quote unquote, and actually like guts you and pulls out a small shark that the shark was pregnant with, and it latches onto his arm, bites off his hand, and that's your character. That's what you control for the rest of the game, is this baby shark. Damn it. Anyways, regretted that immediately. Anyway, but yeah, and like, yeah, when you start off as that shark, you're only like 3 feet long. You start off as a pup, and it's 30 levels that you advance throughout this game. And as you're advancing in these levels, you also get bigger. You turn into a teen shark, you turn into adult, elder, and finally you end up as a mega shark at level 30. And you've went from 3 feet long to about 30 feet long. So pretty big size difference. But yeah, it's not in all of that. You got the level up mechanic. This game very much has the trappings of both open world and an RPG. So it's got,
Well, I think
collectibles.
lends itself to different like play styles. Like
Yeah.
choosing a different body evolution set, like you would probably want to make choices outfitting your shark, whether it's more brute force or bioelectric to fight different kinds of enemies and get different quests done because you like to be directed. Where I might enjoy, because I like open world games, something like the Shadow set is more a stealth build.
Yeah.
Because you're discovering all the different landmarks, you're sneaking around, you're poisoning things.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting to have that complicated mechanic in this kind of game.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're first thinking, like describing the game, it's like, oh, you're playing as a shark and you're just going around kind of killing things. It's like, it doesn't really necessarily lend itself to a whole lot of like other elements, but like it has RPG elements. Like you were saying, it has different, like it has almost like an inventory or like an equipment screen where you can equip like head, teeth, body, fins, tail, and there's these different sets. There's 3 different sets of what are referred to as evolutions that you can equip to your shark.
Choose your evolution.
Yeah. And each of them kind of lend themselves to a different playstyle, like you were saying. Like the bioelectric set focuses on stunning enemies. Like they accumulate stacks of this electric charge, and once they hit 10 stacks, they're stunned for a period of time. And like when you evade, you actually turn into electricity temporarily and stuff like that. Whereas like the bone set, which is probably the one that I would prefer just because I like barbarians. It's basically like the resilience and brute force set. It's like you're going to be dealing a crap ton more damage to ships. You're going to be taking less damage from the ship crews and stuff like that. And then, like you mentioned, the shadow set just focuses more on evasion and stealth and poison. So get in, poison them, get out, let the poison deal its damage, and all that stuff. And also like the way that you discover these different sets is different. So like the bioelectric set, you have an infamy rating by killing people, by killing humans on the beaches and stuff like that. You increase that infamy level. Once it hits a certain point, it attracts a bounty hunter who is a little bit more difficult, has a more powerful ship and stuff like that. Killing those bounty hunters is what gets you the bioelectric set. In addition to the bounty hunters, there's also apex predators in the different zones. Killing those, like there's apex hammerheads and stuff like that. Those other different kinds of predators. You kill those, that's what unlocks the bone set. And then by discovering all the landmarks in a zone, that unlocks parts of the shadow set. So like you were saying, they do kind of lend themselves to those play styles, like discovering the landmarks, exploring the different areas. That's how you get the shadow set, and makes it easier to do those same things. But and then in addition to those body evolutions, there's also organ evolutions, which are the more like miscellaneous things that you can add, like directly increasing your health. There's a couple that is like something digestion, which I'm pretty sure is for like affecting the different nutrients that you can get, which
you get more nutrients from like your whatever you eat.
Yeah.
Efficient digestion.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, and that's the nutrients are kind of like the currency for upgrading and stuff like that. Which you can upgrade all of these evolutions to tier 5, which boosts their power and everything like that. Another RPG trapping. But then like the open world stuff, discovering the landmarks. There's side quests aplenty all around. I
So
think
you watched a lot more playthrough than I played.
yeah, I
Does
watched.
the narration continue?
Yes, I mean
Okay.
that's
Because
another
I
thing.
loved that part.
Yeah.
Especially with the ludicrousness of being a shark and eating people and tails slapping, and they're like, this bull shark is acting much more like a thresher shark in this
Yeah.
moment. Like, it's narration as if it's a nature documentary.
Yeah.
Describing the stuff you're doing.
Well, even like the parts with Scaly Pete, there's a film crew actually filming him and talking to him and stuff like that.
I
So-
saw them on the ship, yeah.
Yeah, so like they're this whole game has this aesthetic of like, imagine this whole thing is like a Deadliest Catch like documentary series, except from the perspective of like somehow they're able to follow the shark as it does this stuff. And it's like one of the earlier comments that like, it's very much tongue in cheek and very kind of self-aware, because they're talking about like the musky fish, how it's usually from the Great Lakes period or the Great Lakes region, and I have no idea what they're doing here. They just don't even try to explain it. It's like, we have no idea why they're here. They just are. Yeah. So it's very yeah.
Another ludicrous thing was being able to like leap out up onto the beach to grab people if
Yeah.
you're close to the edge and kind of flop around toward them. You do eventually like, shark's gills are not made for breathing outside of the water.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, but even that is like, as you get older, like as you go up in level and advance that way, your lung capacity is what they refer to it as. I don't know if do they have lungs? I don't know how that works. But
you get a health meter
Yeah.
that, I'm sure grows.
yeah, and it's like you can
How long
actually
you
like
can survive that.
yeah, once you get to like mega, you can actually survive outside of the water for quite a while. So it just gets ridiculous, the kind of stuff you can do as a shark eventually. And it's like, again, kind of the tongue in cheek kind of, self-aware stuff. It's like they make reference to like nuclear fuel rods being in the water. It's like, that's, the radiation and, stuff like that. This kind of how they explain away how this shark gets so big and just literally becomes a mutant. But yeah, I mean, I watched, so there's two different playthroughs, one that I started watching and then one that I finally did watch kind of all the way through. So a couple things about this game. It's not very long. It's like, you could probably, if you know what you're doing, or, for the most part, you could probably 100% this game in less than 20 hours. I mean, like, I was seeing averages.
Some people could.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've like the one long play that I started watching on YouTube was 9 hours to 100%. But I don't know how much time he edited out. But it's not a super long game. So, I'm always the kind of person that I like to see games that have some level of replay value. This one doesn't really have that. But basically, once you unlock everything, the only thing that's really left is to just kind of enjoy the maniacal slaughtering of animals and people.
I don't know. I feel like I'd want to do different plays. I mean, you've got at least 3 evolutions to try out.
Yeah, but you can unlock all of them in the same playthrough.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
why would you do that? Like, if you want replayability, I don't know.
I mean, well, the thing is, like, once you complete the story, you can still continue playing. You can still do the open world aspect of it, but it's like once you complete the story, there's not really anything further to do other than unlock everything. Oh, so it's like once you complete the story and once you unlock everything, kind of, again, it's kind of the open world trappings. There's not really a whole lot of replay value after that, at least for the sake of advancement. So, but it is just kind of I know there's several games in the past that I've played that kind of fall into the same kind of category, where it's like once you complete the story, there's like you just have the open worldness of it, and just kind of can wreak havoc or whatnot. Like one of the games I could think of off the top of my head is Crackdown. Like in Crackdown, once you kill or capture all the outlaws and stuff, there's not really a whole lot left to do other than just unlock more abilities and just blow stuff up. So this is kind of...
I mean, I guess it depends how completionist you are, because it does have different endings.
Oh, it does?
That's what the internet says, yeah.
Oh, that I did not know. Because I only saw one ending. And I thought that was the ending of the game. So that I did not know. I didn't realize there was multiple endings. I'll have to check that out.
And there's people that are playing it like finishing it somehow with no evolutions.
It's possible. Just gotta be good. I mean, just advancing in level and increasing in size, that gives you innate buffs right there, beyond the evolutions. So, I mean, if you're good enough, they're just like people in Elden Ring who were able to beat it in like level 1, whatever.
Yeah.
That's not me. But that's
no.
The only way I'm able to do anything.
I wouldn't want to. Like, the story would have to significantly change and continue, and I don't think it goes that far with that.
Yeah. Oh, and overall, I mean, personally, I personally couldn't justify $40 for this game. Oh, it's
No, it's definitely a Game Pass fodder.
Yeah.
Like, I'll totally play this on Game Pass.
I mean, the fact that it's on Game Pass really helps it. Also, I think right now, because of the summer sale, I think it's actually $5 on Steam. That price I could understand. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, $5 if you get, 10 hours out of it or whatever, or even 20.
That'd be worth it. I mean, it is a funny experience. It does have the trappings of, or it does have the open world aspects, the RPG aspects of it, and if it does fill in.
I'm showing $9.99.
Oh, is it?
On Steam.
I know I might have gotten the number wrong, but I know it's on sale. But
Apex Edition, and there's Truth Quest, whatever the heck that is.
Yeah, there is some DLCs
thing
for it as well, but so I don't know. It's difficult to like, because there are definitely good elements of this game. The biggest problem is I'm not the biggest fan of open world games. That's me though. But I mean, it definitely has some entertaining bits to it. The tongue in cheek and self-aware dialogue. The fact that you're playing as a freaking shark for once. You're able to go around and just eat people. I mean, it definitely is fun. But
much I liked it. Like, I'm not a go around and murder things gamer. I didn't even like games that shoot people. If it's zombies or monsters, I don't feel heinous about it. But something about just being a predator, being a shark, and then it was funny. I don't know. I don't know.
It definitely
was like literally like
yeah, it definitely
and
feels
Rob, my husband's like, he came out later, he's like, you gonna play that game some more? Like, he saw me laughing and having such a good time with it, and I was surprised, but that flavor too of the nature documentary backdrop just. I guess it's just my twisted sense of humor.
So it's definitely, especially because it's available on Game Pass, definitely worth a try if you're interested in being the shark this time. And
if you can get it to work.
Yeah. Again, it's probably
Hopefully-
just something with my system for whatever reason. Like I've been having some connection issues with certain programs, so it's probably just a me thing. But honestly, the one person I want to see play this game is Alex Delbisu, because he is most notably terrified of sharks. I'm wondering if him being the shark would affect it in any way, or if he would just
it might
constantly be tense.
immediately like freak him the heck out, or maybe it'll help him. Maybe it's what do they call it? Exposure therapy.
Yeah. I do think that'd be kind of funny. But yeah, this game it bites. Yeah, like literally it bites. Yeah.
You could like grab stuff and shake it in your mouth and throw it, and then go get it again, and you can whack things with the tail and stun them.
I mean,
I was killing seals and enjoying it. I don't know what's wrong.
It's
with me
like,
there. That is so outside of my wheelhouse.
I think one of the lines that he says, even like the narrator says, is like, "Believe it or not, this is actually the circle of life." I just like, and I think that like that's what he says during one of the sections where the guy is just hopelessly murdering a bunch of beachgoers.
And eating turtles is really hard. Is that because they're crunchy? I guess
it's like jawbreakers.
I just had to try it though. They were right there. Anything swimming around, fair game.
Yeah, whether it's living or inanimate, sometimes. Well.
Yeah, going after boats is weird. Like, and then when the Stinky Pete comes or whatever,
Scaly Pete,
that gets complicated. That's where I would have to get a lot more practice with the controls, because you have to like charge and leap and get on the boat, and
and
that stuff's a little trickier.
And it gets more complicated with him as
multiple boats with laser sights. Yeah.
Well, not just that, but you fight Scaly Pete at least 3 times. Well, I mean, he's like the primary antagonist, so you face him multiple times throughout the game, and like his final boat is just ridiculous. It's like it's like a used World War II style like destroyer, basically. That he modifies, and there are definitely some tactics to it. Like there is some puzzle solving. There is this element of dodge and attack when they're weak. That kind of element to it. One question I have for you is, how is the targeting for you? It's like, did you have trouble like targeting enemies and target?
No, the targeting was it was coming up automatically when things were in range.
Okay.
A little thing would appear, so I'd know they were in range. It was just a little tricky to judge what exactly that means. Like, you have to visually be able to, like, can I use a charge ahead? What do they call it?
Lunge.
There's a different, basically use a lunge, or maybe 2, and then, like, if I lunge past it, then you got to just switch tactics and whack it with your tail. But it was basically come up as auto targeting. Okay. But again, I don't know if that's because I was still farting around on the tutorial, basically.
Yeah, because
or if that disappears later.
I think it's relatively the same, but it's like from not being able to know, like, to actually play the game, know like how the targeting feels. Mm-hmm. Just from watching it, it looked like the targeting was an issue at times, because like you would try to lunge and you would bite a target, but you would keep on moving. You wouldn't latch onto them. You would just bite them and keep on moving. Like if it's a bigger target,
you have to bite.
But
that's why.
That's a
If you
smaller
just
target.
bite once, you just kind of keep going, even with something bigger.
Well, it depends on the enemy, because like on the bigger targets, like when you're facing alligators, you can't latch onto them. It's like you kind of bite them and move on. With like the smaller stuff, like the fish, and you can bite on them, and you can either thrash them or just keep on biting them and eventually eat them. But it's like, I don't know if it was just his playthrough where if he was having trouble with the targeting, but it's like it looked like he kept on losing the target just by the movement.
Yeah, I kept losing. I started going after seals because I wanted to see how it would be affected by going after something a little bigger. And they're bigger and faster. And even try to bite a couple times, like they swim the heck away, and then you gotta turn around and figure out what direction they went. Because when you bite a couple times, like the water becomes clouded with blood, basically.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to look around and try to find your target again. It doesn't keep the target once you've stricken. You have to reacquire your target.
Okay.
But I don't think that's broken.
Okay. Yeah, it's just the observation I made, because targeting, especially when you're moving around that quickly, can be problematic. So I don't know if it was just the way he was playing the game or whatnot, but yeah, just observation.
Maybe. I mean, if you hold down your lunge and just try to go fast all the time, of course that's going to be trickier, because you can let off that and go really slow. And
yeah.
I was kind of playing that way because I wanted to be sneaking closer to things before I try to hit them anyway. Although people are stupid. They just kept coming in the water. Like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I was grabbing people and biting and then, like, leaping out of the water and throwing them in the air and finishing them off. And then people kept coming in the water.
Yeah, it's like the animations for, like, the finishers and everything are pretty spectacular. It's like, it's like throwing them up the air and catching them and eating them and everything. Yeah, it gets pretty ridiculous, but it's definitely got,
you
like
bite
I said,
somebody and then hit them with your tail and then
Yeah.
go get them again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely got that.
You play with your
that
food.
tone. But again, I think it's worth it to try out, especially if since it's on Game Pass. Paying full price for it, I can't fully get behind, just because $40 for potentially 20 hours of content. I personally couldn't justify that for me, but definitely try it on Game Pass.
Yeah. And $10. I mean,
yeah, that I think it'd be much more reasonable. But yeah, it definitely fills a niche. So,
and that
All
seems
right.
to be the price, by the way. It's not showing that as a sale price.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, could
Usually it's got the. Oh no, you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's 75% off. Sorry.
Yeah.
Offer ends July 11th.
Yeah, which as of
That's
recording
summer
is in
sale.
4 days.
Yep.
So
And it looks pretty good. I'll say that too.
yeah, I mean that I will admit, just like
It doesn't look like the trailer. Really.
I mean, still,
Well-
just like looking at your shark, just like, especially when you get some of the full sets of evolutions and stuff like that, it makes that shark look freaky at times. Especially the bioelectric, because all of a sudden it has like little tendrils coming out of its side and everything is kind of creepy. But I mean, yeah, it still looks good.
Yeah.
All right. But with that, everyone, if you like what you've heard and you'd like to help us out, a couple ways of doing that is you can give us a review over on Apple Podcast. You can follow my Twitch and or YouTube channels for our live recordings. Sunday nights, starting at 9:15 with our pre-show and tech check. 9:15 Eastern time, I should mention. Or if you'd like to help us with our paychecks each month, you can become one of our patrons over at patreon.com. It helps us out immensely, and we really do appreciate it. If you'd like to contact us, you can with our email, parttimegamers.cast@gmail.com. Or you can join our Discord channel for all the fun insanity that goes place in there. Yeah. So everyone, thank you for listening. Join us next week. We're going to be talking about another game that bites called Death Road to Canada. So we're going from sharks to zombies. So it's actually, I first saw this game actually from Jess. Jess played this for a while, and it's this really interesting roguelike, like old school 16 or however, I don't know bits, but pixel art and just swarms of zombies, and just the situations you can get into are just kind of weird. But yeah, zombie apocalypse. Going to be talking about Death Road to Canada next week. I'm Sean. You can find the show and the rest of my work and links to my socials, including our Discord channel, my Twitch and the YouTube channels, and the Apple Podcast listing using the link bit.ly/CI Productions. Ember, where can people find you around the internet?
Oh, the easiest way to find me is go to 9of12.com. That's NINEOF12.com. It'll point you to all my other projects.
Yeah. And you can find Theo's work at swellcast.com/thatoneweirdo and rabbitinredradio.com. All right, everyone, until next time, we are the Part-Time Gamers, clocking out.